So now let's begin. So patent agent examination is scheduled on 5th January 2025. Okay, last day to fill up the application form is 8th August 2025. So as per the notification, the curriculum or the syllabus of the patent agent examination 2025 has changed. It is updated with little bit of additions. So let's look at the syllabus and the pattern of the examination. Okay. So syllabus, what does it contain? Number one, it contains Patent Act 1970. So what do you mean by Patent Act 1970? Patent Act 1970 means that all the law which is created in India, which is related to patent in India, is written in a form of an act that is called Patent Act 1970. Why it is called 1970? Because it was made in 1970. It was implemented in 1972. So it was made in 1970. That is why it is called Patent Act 1970. Patent Act means how the patent laws work in India, right? So that is why we call it as an like act. Okay. So it is called Patent Act 1970. Next are Patent Rules 2024. So patent rules are like recently amended. So they are updated. So we will be reading the latest Patent Amendment Rules 2024. So what is the difference between act and rules? This is a basic question, that why there are two things, act and rules, why there are two things. Anybody in the chat can answer that. What is the difference between act and rule? So act generally means something to change the things in an act, right? You have to go through the procedure that you have to go to Lok Sabha, then Rajya Sabha, signed by the president. So changing of an act is a longer procedure. Okay, so act is made by legislature. Rules are made by patent office, right? Because they want to keep their functioning in a like a updated format, or they want to increase the efficiency of the process. Okay, so rules are something which keeps on changing. Rules generally change almost every year. So not everything changes, but yes, certain rules are updated to keep the patent office and the functioning very smoother. Okay, so difference between act and a rule is that act is general in nature. Rules are very specific in nature. For example, let's say if the act says the patent, after filing a provisional specification, you have to file the complete specification of a patent in the specified time. Okay, so this will be written in the act. Okay, now what is the specified time, how it will be filed, will be written in the corresponding rule. So you can understand, like somebody is microbiologist here, genus and species, like you understand? Yes. So it's like genus and species, right? We can say that, right? So act is very like general in nature. Okay, act is like the particular thing needs to be done in this way, in a specified way. What is the specified way? What is the time? What is the form? What is the fees? That is mentioned in the corresponding rules. If you're understanding difference between act and rule, please type yes in the chat section, that yes, you are understanding that there's a difference between act and the rule. Okay. And next is forms of patent. So the different types of forms are required to file or required to be submitted at different stages. Okay, so in your curriculum there are total, in the Patent Act total, there are 31 forms. Okay, so generally people ask me, Cheshta ma'am, what is the most important part for patent agent examination? So most important part, you can note down here, most important part are these 31 forms. Okay, which form? All the 31 forms, because 31 forms define the entire prosecution, how patent will be filed, how patent will different things will happen, how opposition will be filed, how compulsory license will be filed. So there are different at different stages, or depending on different things that we want to do, different types of forms are utilized at different stages. Okay, so our lot of focus in the upcoming classes is going to be on understanding the interpretation of different forms. Okay, Of course, I'll be teaching you the tips and tricks how to learn these 31 forms. So we don't have to learn the entire content which is inside the form. We have to learn like a particular form. What is the purpose of this form? Why it is used? Okay. What is the main aim of this form? And with certain forms, certain amount of fees is attached, which needs to be submitted to the government. So what is the fees for this particular form? Right? What is the in the act, what is a section of this form? In the rules, what is the rule of this form? Okay. So lot of forms, these all forms we need to understand in a way that how and where it fit into the entire procedure. Are you understanding it? The forms of patent, there are total 31 forms. When we will be doing each procedure, for example, one day we will do the procedure of patent filing, one day we will do the procedure of opposition, one will be the procedure of compulsory license. So as we move on to different procedures, or we can say different flow charts, because for our understanding, all the procedures like this flow chart, or you can say mind map, all the things are divided into, I've created a lot of flow charts and diagrams. So with this flowchart and diagrams, every procedure will be taught to you in the upcoming classes. And in each procedure, what is the forms and fees that will be taught. So initially, we will learn the forms according to the different procedures. And then in the end, we will combine and learn them. Okay, what are these forms? What are this procedure for? Okay. Now, this is the already syllabus. Now, what is the new syllabus? What is new added? This has always been the syllabus of patent agent examination because it's a patent examination. So patent act, patent rules, forms, all things is like you need to learn. But this year specifically, they have mentioned new pointers, which were not there, because now, which is also a good thing. Why? Because now earlier patent agents who qualify this examination can only file patents. Now they can also file designs, the design application. Okay, so they have newly introduced that from this time onwards, from 2025 onwards, you have to also understand Patent Act 2000, Patent Rules 2001, and in the, sorry, Design Act 2000, Design Rules 2001, and forms of design are total 24. Okay. If you are understanding it, type patent and design in the chat, that now we have to understand Patent Act 1970 as well as Design Act 2000, Patent Rules 2004, 2024, Design Rules 2001. Forms of patent are total 31, forms of total design are 24 in number. So you can say the syllabus has doubled, yes, a bit, because earlier we were focused on only one part of IP, that is patents, but now we are focusing on patents as well as designs. The good part about it, that once you become patent agent, once you qualify that, you can file both the types of application, that was as patents as well as designs. Okay. Now, matters of IP. This is also specifically mentioned in the curriculum. Earlier it was like understood, but now in the curriculum, in the like advertisement, that what is going to be the curriculum, they have specifically written matters of IP. So it is the third pointer which comes in your curriculum. What do you mean by matters of IP? Matters of IP means that how the patent office of India is going to function. What are the different functioning procedures? One is like what is written in an act, and how it is implemented in the rules, and how patent office actually function. So patent agent before 2025 would not be eligible for filing designs. No, they will be eligible, of course. All patent agents are now eligible for filing patent as well as designs. But earlier it was not part of the formal curriculum. So this year they have made a part of a formal curriculum also, that yes, the questions will also come from the design. It was not specifically written in the curriculum. So earlier the curriculum was just Patent Act 1970, patent rules, that is. But this time they have elaborated the syllabus so that people understand, okay, these all parts you need to study. They have given a little elaboration, which is good because matters of IP anyway we were doing, but they have specifically mentioned as a third pointer in the curriculum, matters of IP. Matters of IP means reference to how patent office is going to work. Matters of IP can also include patent infringement cases, which goes on in the High Court of India. So matters of IP is like actually legal action or legal work, how it is happening related to patents. So the reference will go to, will be looking at the patent office manual, certain functionality, how does this function? For example, e-filing of the patents happen. Or what type, we'll be doing some case study related to the recent patent infringement cases which goes on in the High Court. Right. Fourth pointer, which was never mentioned, but yes, it was understood that it is a part of curriculum, but now they have specifically mentioned in the advertisement of the curriculum is jurisprudence. Now, what do you mean by jurisprudence? Anybody has an idea? Jurisprudence means that law is such a thing which keeps on evolving with time. Okay. So law, any type of law in India, not only patent law, but also like Hindu law or uh, contract law is also evolved by case laws. What do you mean by case laws? Case laws means that specific type of condition came in front of the courts of India and they took some decision. For example, to give you an idea, uh, so there was a case between Novartis versus patent office. You know the company Novartis, it's a big pharmaceutical company, right? So a big pharmaceutical company filed a patent application on a certain chemical entity. Okay. The patent was rejected by patent office saying this is not patentable, the new composition which you have given. But the Novartis company said, no, this is a new composition and we want to get patent in India. And they got patent in USA and Europe, but they didn't get patent in India. Okay. Then they went to High Court, then they went to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court also denied them. So this is called a case law. This is called a particular scenario or a case study of a particular company that goes through different procedure. And why it is called jurisprudence? Because the law is evolving what happened in this particular condition. Are you understanding this point? If yes, then type yes. So yes, this will involve certain legal terms and terminologies, but I will help you break down into simpler English and simpler understanding, because we all come from science and engineering background. My background is also like this, right? So simpler understanding of this, that law in India is governed by two things. What is written in the act, of course, that is an act as such, but act cannot give all the possible scenarios because every company will file a patent on different things. One company will file a patent on composition, but one will file on the new chemical composition, one will be a process, one will be a computer algorithm, one will be a mechanical design, and they all will be different. And nowadays patents are being filed by use of AI. And the recent question is, what if AI is one of the inventor? Then who will get the right? Can AI can be an entity or an inventor as such? So this is a new thing, new question. So these new things like the patent development by AI or detection of any particular thing by AI is not written in the act. Act is as such, but this is a new scenario. A new scenario comes, a new technology comes, they are governed by the case laws in the particular scenario. That is why jurisprudence, they have made it a very important point, which I see this is very important because they never, before 2025, they never used to mention in the curriculum, okay, that you have to study jurisprudence, how law has evolved over time, how law is evolving not only by the law as such, but also different cases and different scenarios. Okay. So are you finding it interesting? Because this is going to be very, very interesting because you will learn a lot of scenarios. So basically, you can say the updated curriculum is good. Why? Because updated curriculum is going to prepare you for the actual practice when you become patent agent. So it's not just that you have to solve few questions for the examination. It is preparing you that when you will enter into real world, when you start practicing as a patent agent, you are able to solve real world problems. Okay. So this is the good part, which I see, that what is a good part, why syllabus is updated, and uh, explanation also. They have not just written one sentence, but they have explicitly said that, okay, in patent you have to study act, rules, designs you have to study also, matters of IP you have to study, and jurisprudence you have to study. Right? Jurisprudence, in the simpler words, you can understand that how patent plays an important role when different scenarios, different kind of technology come into picture, and then how we interpret the patent law according to it. Now this is going to be very interesting in the future. The question, the debate is ongoing, can AI be the inventor? Right? For example, if some technology is developed by using AI, in which AI played a very important role in joining the dots, because we gave the data to AI and we asked the AI to develop something. So can AI be identified as the one of the inventors? So this is an ongoing debate all over the world, not only in India. In Australia, there are many patents which are filed in which AI is one of the inventors. So who holds the right when AI becomes inventor? And the beauty of the patent law, you will see that patents are territorial in nature. Territorial in nature means different countries can have different scenario. Territorial means, let's say patent is filed in India. So, and patent is also filed in USA. So in India, Indian government, that is the patent office, will decide whether the patent will be granted or not. In USA, the USPTO, which is located in Alexandria, Virginia, will decide whether this will be given in the territory of USA. It's the same patent. Because of the territorial nature, you will face the scenarios that some patents are not granted in India, but they are already granted in US and Europe. So different governments make the laws, the basic infrastructure, the basic fundamentals of law of patent are same in every country, because they have been taken from the TRIPS, WTO TRIPS, that is a trade related intellectual property system. So every country has taken the framework from that, but every country was given a liberty to devise their own laws. That is why when you will study these case laws, you will find that there are scenarios in which patents are not granted in India or granted in India, but they're different in different countries. So this is the meaning when we say that patents are territorial in nature. If you're understanding, type the word territorial in the chat, because this is the term which I'm going to use in a lot of places and in the interpretation, that patents are territorial in nature. They are specific in specific territory. Okay. So territorial means that different in the different territory, different things can happen with one same technology, with one same patent, right? So territorial is like a term which is going to be used in lot many times in the upcoming classes. Okay, so this is a syllabus. Now, what is the pattern of the question paper? What types of questions are going to come in the exam? Okay, so there are going to be like three papers: paper 1, paper 2, and paper 3. So paper 1 and paper 2 are happening on 5th January 2025. And I want to say that you are at the right point. If you're in my class today, you're at a very good point, because we have good enough time to prepare, especially when the curriculum is changed, right? So when the curriculum is changed, then you have to study a little bit more. So till last year when I was teaching, I was only focusing on patent act, but now we have to divide our timetable that, okay, we will cover patents, we will cover designs, we will cover matters of IP, we will have to cover matters of IP and jurisprudence we were always doing, even in last year, even to last year. But yes, design is something we have to put a focus on, that, okay, now for entire like 3 weeks, we will be studying the designs part. But first, of course, we will study patents and then design. So one by one, we will have to study. Now let's look at the curriculum. So paper number one. Paper number 1 is happening on 5th January 2025. The total marks of paper number 1 is going to be 100. Okay. The type of paper 1 is objective. It's an objective type paper. Sorry. Good point about paper number 1 is that there's going to be no negative marking. So you will get an OMR sheet. I hope everyone has seen an OMR sheet in which there are small circles, like because there are MCQs. So like question number 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have to fill in the circle with the right answer. How many of you have seen the OMR sheet? You must have given any other examination. I'll bring you the sample also. How does the OMR sheet look like? So OMR sheet, you get question 1, 2, 3, 4, and the choices are written in circle, and you have to fill in the circle, one circle correctly. Right? So in paper number 1, you will get an OMR sheet. And also when you will get an OMR sheet, you will have 2 copies. The master OMR sheet, there will be a carbon paper, and there will be a second OMR sheet. So that when you submit your answer sheet, they will take up the master copy, and the second, that whatever answers you have filled, they will give it to you. So that when you want to check your answers, you know what you have marked. So as soon as you give the examination and you know how many answers you have marked, you can calculate how many marks you are going to get. Are you understanding this point? If yes, type yes. So in OMR sheet, one will be the master copy, which of course you will submit. Okay. And one copy you will get a chance to take it to your home, check your answers, tally your answers, discuss with me in the class, and you will be able to calculate your marks even before the result comes. So you will know in paper 1 how many marks you are getting. So once you give the paper, we'll have break, and then in day or 2 after your exam, we will have a class in which we will discuss the question paper, and you will calculate how many marks you are getting. Okay, which is a good thing because it's a transparent method. You will know, okay, this answers I mark, this much marks I am going to get 100%. Because in MCQs, either it is right or it's wrong, right? So duration. So duration of paper number 1 is going to be 2 hours. The exam will start at 10 a.m. and will end at 12 noon. Okay. So make sure you reach the centers, which will be given in your admit card. Admit card will be issued online in the month of December. It will come on your email. You will be able to download it from the portal also. So make sure you reach the center at 9 o'clock, because dot 10 o'clock you will get the question paper, and you will have 2 hours, 10 a.m. till 12 noon. You have 2 hours to solve the MCQs. Now, what is going to be the pattern of paper number 1? Okay. So in paper number 1, there are going to be 3 parts. So different types of objective questions. Part A, B, and C. In part A, there are going to be 30 questions, which are like MCQs, multiple choice question. Each question will have 4 options. Each question will be of 2 marks. So part A is going to be of 60 marks. So part A comprises 30 multiple choice question, each of 2 marks, and only one option will be correct. Okay. So this part A is the easiest one. It is the simpler one because like straight part. Right. So in our upcoming classes, we are going to practice at least 500 questions for paper number 1. We have a question bank, which we have developed. That is the practice question bank. Okay. So the goal, the objective of this class is going to be that whatever possible questions are going to come in the examination, 99% probability will be that you have already solved in the class. Not exactly, but yes, a particular scenario or a particular situation in which there's going to be a question. So this is going to be our effort in the class, that we will be practicing a lot. It's not just studying, because in this, you will be also doing your test series, you will be also doing your practice. So, and also there's a special book which we have updated this year, 500 question bank. So question bank is for practice. Of course, we'll be solving all previous year papers also, but yes, question bank for practice, only MCQs. So my effort is going to be at least we try to solve as many scenarios possible in the class itself, so that when you sit in the examination, you understand, okay, this was discussed in the class. All right. Will that be good for you? If yes, type yes in the chat section. So part B. Part B is going to have 10 questions, 1 marks each. Okay. Now, what type of questions will come in part B? Part B is 10 multiple choice question with one option will be correct. So part B is assertion reasoning question. It will, of course, it will be based on patent law, but there is going to be an assertion and reason. So only one option A, B, C, D should be marked. When both assertion and reason are correct, then A is the right answer. That means that reason is the correct explanation. B, when both A and assertion and reasoning are true, but assertion is not correct, but explanation of A, then C, then A is not true, or R is false, then D. If both are false, then D. So it is going to be, don't worry about, don't go into much of technical part of it, but there's going to be, let me make you understand in a simpler way. There's going to be an assertion, there is going to be a reason behind that. Okay. So there can be multiple scenarios when assertion and reason both are correct, when one of them are correct, and when both of them are false. ठीक है, यही सिनेरियो हो सकते हैं कि दोनों ठीक है, दोनों में से एक गलत है, assertion गलत है या reason गलत है या दोनों गलत है, तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग ए बी सी डी मार्क हम करेंगे. Are you understanding this? Yes. So these are assertion reason based question, and definitely we are going to practice a lot in the class. So once you practice, you will get a hang of it. What are the scenarios when assertion and reason both are correct, when both are false, one of them is correct, so what to mark. So these are called assertion reasoning question. That is going to be part B. Part C, 10 questions, 3 marks each. This will be also MCQs. But how it is different from the MCQs of part A? Part A MCQs are simpler. So 30 questions are very simpler. So, but these 10 questions, which are 3 marks, are a little bit lengthier. They are based on certain types of case study or scenario. But there can be match the following also in part number C. So that is why in part number C, the 10 questions have each question have 3 marks. The good point is that there's no ranking. There's no going to be first, second, third in the examination. Only the examination says you are pass or fail. Of course, you will get marks also. So to qualify paper number 1, minimum you have to get 50% marks. Okay. And in paper number 1 and 2, as an aggregate, you have to get 60%. So paper number 1 is relatively easy. So you can target 70, 75 marks easily. So part A is because little bit easy. Okay. So 30 into 2 is 60. So if you do well in part A, your 60 marks are done. Right. And then 10 or 25 marks you can get from part B and C. Yeah, little, if I compare part A, part B and C, according to the my students of last batches, part A, and according to me also, like part A is simpler. It's the easiest one. Part B is little bit of tricky part. Part C is little more lengthier part. Lengthier part means it will take some time to understand the question. In part A, when you will read the question, you will be able to answer because the question length is very small. You have to read one sentence and answer. In part number C, where each question is of 3 marks, you have to read actually. So reading is very, very important because you have to read like 4-5 sentences. You have to understand the scenario and then mark. Okay. So in our practice classes, we will be also learning time management because in 2 hours, we have to complete this. So paper number 1, generally we have seen with my past students, paper number 1, everybody is able to complete. Nobody has ever, student of my class, I can talk about them. No student from my class in all the batches which I have been teaching have never missed that time was gone and they were not able to complete paper number 1 because we practice a lot in the class. So paper 1 is going to be your like easy thing. That because you will understand the concept, there's going to be a lot of practice, time management, and yes, we have to you should have a good reading speed, understanding, and analytics because when you practice a lot, this will automatically develop. Okay, Are we clear with the pattern of paper number 1? If yes, type yes. So this is paper number 1 we have talked about, which contains part A, B, and C. Yes? Now, so this paper number 1 is from 10 a.m. till 12 noon. Then there's going to be 2-hour break from 12 till 2. So this break is given to you so that you can relax. You can bring the lunch to the center. You can eat your own lunch at the center. There will be a place for you, which will be assigned, where all the students can sit. There'll be proper table, chair. You can relax. You can eat your lunch and just chill. I don't recommend any student to read or learn anything in that 2 hours. Just relax. You need relaxation. You need to regain your energy, because next at 2 o'clock you have to do paper number 2. So the paper number 2 is going to be of 3 hours. So energy conservation, that you have energy, you have to maintain that. आपको थकना नहीं है, दोपहर का टाइम हो चुका होगा, correct? Right? Iris, there used to be a pattern in which more than one option was correct last year, but in the last year they have removed this, that more than one option is correct. But in the class we will practice that also, in case some change happen in 2025 paper. We will be also practicing in the class in which more than one option is correct. But last year they have changed, there was no such question like this. But because we have such question in the question bank, we already have lot of study material, so you will be doing in which more than one option is correct. Okay. Now talking about paper number 2, time is 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. 3 hours. Total marks 100. Okay. It also contains 3 parts: part A, part B, part C. Okay. So now what are these parts? Part A, which is of 20 marks, it will have case study based questions. So it is a theoretical paper, so there's not going to be an OMR sheet, there's going to be an answer sheet. Okay. So in this part A, that is of 20 marks, will have easiest case studies. Easy, 5 marks ki 4 case studies honge, so 4 into 5 is 20 marks. Easy case studies, like you will be able to understand it one go. Okay. Part B, which is of 30 marks, will have 3 case studies, 10 marks each. So now the difficulty level increases little bit in part B, in the case studies. So that will also be case studies, but that will be little lengthier one. Scenario will be little lengthier. Okay, so you may take a time to analyze. So take a breath, and then if there's a longer case study, you have to take a deep breath. You have to understand, okay, this is a bigger scenario, and then I have to analyze how to answer this question. So paper number 2 is entire practical. So there's not going to be like a direct question. There's going to be like scenarios, which will be different applications. Okay. Now part C is of drafting. So you will see in paper number 2, 50 marks is for case studies, that is in part A and part B, and 50 marks is for drafting. Okay. Drafting of different types. So part C will have 3 parts: C1, C2, C3. So in part C1 consists of 2 questions, and candidate is required to answer any one of them. So there is going to be an option which answer you want to attempt in part C1. So part C1 will have a case study of 10 marks each, and but with an optional thing that which case study you want to do. Why there's a choice in C1? Because it is going to relate with your background. It will be related to your scientific background as well. So one case study will be general science, one will be more of an engineering side, right? So they give you an option, so you can read which type you are understanding it well, because you have to have little bit of scientific aptitude will be involved. Scientific aptitude is not too much required. Scientific aptitude, if you have studied since till class 12th also science, you will understand. For example, there are 2 questions. One question will be on composition of a particular formulation, and one is on the windmill design. So if you understand that, okay, I am more comfortable in composition, you can write composition. If you are more comfortable in understanding how does a windmill function, so you can write on that, right? So there's going to be a little bit of scientific data in that, and you have to draft in that. Part C1, sorry, part C2. Part C2 consists 3 questions, and candidate is required to answer one of them. So C2 again have a choice, and choice between 3 questions. And depending upon your ability, which part you are understanding it, you can just scan it. I'll tell you the scanning techniques, also the faster reading techniques, and you can choose, okay, this question I want to answer. So C2 part generally drafting comes when you have to compare different kinds of technologies, right? So they will give you, okay, the current invention is this, and the technologies which are already patented are disclosure 1 and disclosure 2. So you will be comparing the technology with the prior existing technology. This type of drafting never used to come, but last year they have introduced, that is called prior art or patentability or novelty analysis report. This last year this was newly introduced. So this is easy one. This is not difficult. It is written in simple English language. With practice, you will get full marks. I find this particular section easiest in entire paper number 2. It is like easiest because it is just comparing of technologies, and all of you have a good scientific aptitude. So you will find it like most easy. I personally find it like it's the most easy part. These 10 marks questions are like easy. Okay. Then part C3. Part C3 will contain drafting of the patent specification. So there's going to be entire invention. There'll be a choice according to your technological background, according to your scientific understanding. You have to read the invention, you have to draft a title, you have to draft the abstract, you have to write the summary. Most important part, you have to write the claims. Okay. So paper number 2, generally students fear because it's a theoretical paper. But in our class, we are going to practice a lot. Paper 2 is more about practice. When you have practiced a lot of prior arts, when you have practiced how to write claims, how to write complete specification. If you like practice well, then this paper 2 is easy. But the most important part, which I say to my student, is time management. Time is very important because you can draft a patent in 1 hour, but you don't have 1 hour. You have to read the invention draft within 40 minutes because itna hi time. Are you understanding this? If yes, type yes. Okay. So you need not to worry because in the class also we will be practicing by keeping a time. We'll have a time going on and you have to draft within 40 minutes. So once we practice, at least even if you practice 10 different patents in the time limit, you are able to complete 40 minutes in the class. Slowly and slowly the time will reduce. Initially you might take 45 minutes or 1 hour, but slowly and slowly practice. When you start practicing, you will see that you are able to write answer within 30 minutes. Because you understand, okay, this is a template, this is how it is going to be, these things I have to write in title, this in abstract, this in summary, this in claims. So there's a templates. We have produced a template. We have a separate book for patent drafting, which is given to you. And apart from all the study material, we will be doing a lot of practice in the class. The point of the live classes is to make you practice as much as possible so that when you sit in the paper, so my goal is when you sit in the paper and when my students come out of the examination room, their sentence should be the exam was easy. Why you will be able to say exam is easy? Why? Because you have practiced already a lot. So when you have practiced a lot, the exam seems to be easy. For other students, it might be difficult. But for IIPT students, it is going to be very easy. Not easy, I'll say very easy. Because you have practiced enough in the class, you already know what to expect. So you can write it in a quicker manner. Okay. So after paper 1 and 2, which will happen on 5th January, within 2 weeks, the result will come that who has passed, who has failed. and people who have passed in both paper 1 and 2 with 50% of marks, they will be invited for Viva voice. So January and February first week, approximately, you will have your Viva. Okay, they'll give you a time slot of 15 minutes. 50 marks ka Viva hota hai. After your exam is over, that is on 5th January, we will have separate Viva classes. Okay. So in Viva classes, Viva is the easiest in all the papers. No student from IIPT who has passed paper 1 and 2 has ever failed in Viva. Viva, you will like 100% pass if you have passed paper 1 and 2. That's my, you can say, personal guarantee. I know that, right? Obviously, but we'll be doing practice of Viva also. I'll teach you what type of questions they will ask, how to answer them, how to navigate them. We are going to have mock Viva in the class on an audio video call so that you know and you can answer the questions with full confidence. Okay. So everybody is clear with the two things. The goal of my class today was to make you understand what is the curriculum, how it is updated, what are the different pointers, and what is the examination pattern. Everybody is clear on these pointers? Yes or no, you can type in the chat. If you have any doubt how it is going to be, then you can ask questions. Paper number 1 is easy. There's again no negative marking. Paper number 2 is theoretical. We will be writing the answer. We will be doing practice of writing in the class itself. We will be actually doing the practice of writing, because what happens with time, we have lost the practice of writing. We have a more practice of typing nowadays, right? So we'll be doing a lot of writing with pen and paper. Okay, so that you get a hang of it, how to write, because you have to write for 3 hours. Okay, but trust me on this, that the system which we have built for you will make paper easy for you. It might be difficult for other students who are not in this class, but it will be very easy for you. I'll make it easy because we follow the pattern. We follow certain techniques. So what type of techniques we are going to follow when we are teaching? Number 1 is this mind map technique. Like this mind map is for the patent agent examination with all the procedures. Whether we are going to study in patents or designs, we have developed a mind map. All the forms, whether of patents and design, we have developed such mind maps. So this is a diagrammatic method. Rather than reading a theory, I have around 30 diagrams of patents, 10 diagrams of designs, which I have made for you. So all these diagrams and all these mind maps would be used in the teaching material in the class. This will make it simpler, easier, and also time management becomes easier. So when you're writing a case study, all the mind maps which you'll be doing in the class, you can exactly draw a mind map or diagram. There's no need to fill in pages. This is not a school exam or social science exam in which you have to, if it's a 10 marks question, you have to write 5 pages. No, it's not like that. You make a diagram because you have to save time, you will get full marks. This is a proven technique. All my students have been making diagrams. In the paper number 2, they've been getting good marks in that. Okay, so diagram is the thing. Lot of diagrams it is going to be there. Lot of flow charts are going to be there, which will make everything simpler and broken down into steps. Okay, and one more technique which we are going to use is, we are going to use a technique which is called systematic learning. Okay, so systematic learning, initially we will learn the basic concepts, the basic terminologies, and then we will learn the procedure. Then we'll add example to it. And then in the end, we will read what is the corresponding act and rule. I will not start with, okay, section number 2, section number 3. No. There are total 100 sections, more than 100, 160 per se. But all the sections you don't have to learn. I'll tell you what is important, what is not important, what to learn, what not to learn. Okay, I'll help you mark them. But before even going to that, we will learn in a simpler English manner that, okay, if we have to file a patent opposition, what is the procedure, what is the flow chart, what is the diagram of that. So this particular different types of scenarios, I'll give you examples also. Let me showcase you example. For example, if we have to study opposition of patent. Can you see on the screen? I'm sharing the screen. I'm just giving you an example of how we are going to study in the class, so that you know how for you exam is going to be easy, because we will use this flow chart. Now, pre-grant opposition, step 1, step 2, step 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps. These are steps. These are basic steps, right? So any topic which we are going to cover, we are going to have a particular flow chart of that. Surrender of patent, again, simpler steps. So we have made all these diagrams for you, and this is going to make your learning faster, quicker, and easier. All right. Are we set for this? Okay. I'll give you in the upcoming classes also the timetable which we are going to follow, how much you have studied, a little bit of study pointers. After we have covered certain parts, every class will have a small test of MCQs initially of 10 questions. So it's not like in the end only we will start with the practice question. Each topic which we are studying, we will do the MCQ side by side. Are you understanding this point? So I'm not leaving ki jab November or December aayega, then only we will practice questions. No, we will start practicing question from the day 1 of the class. Topic related question, topic related questions. So it will go hand in hand, right? For whatever topic we are studying, we will practice MCQs. So you know, acha, this topic, from this small topic, this particular type of questions are going to come. So this is how we are, my goal generally remains that within the study period, we practice at least 500 questions. So when you have practiced 500 questions in the class itself, the exam will automatically will be easier. We practice at least 50, 60 case studies, so that you know, okay, these are going to be the case studies. In the drafting, at least we practice 30 different types of drafting. So you know, okay, this is how we need to write, right? And in the class, when you will study in the upcoming classes, I recommend, and when you study in the class, you bring a notepad or pen with you, so that you have a little bit of writing practice. Though this class is recorded, it will be there for you. All the mind maps will be available for you in the learning portal. But the writing practice that you have to do a little bit. So in each class, you can write down a little bit notes in your own handwriting. Why it is required? So that you have a writing practice. And the flow chart, which I'll be teaching in the class, it's not like ki wo flow chart hai. You have to actually read the flow chart and then make it in your own handwriting on a piece of paper. I'll be asking you to present the document which you have written, which is handwritten, because in the paper you have to show it in like a handwritten format. So writing practice again is going to be an important component. Reading practice, faster reading, scanning, how to answer quickly, all this will be covered apart from the technical curriculum. Right? Technical curriculum, I will say, is like 50%, and 50% is your basic skills of reading, writing, interpretation, and your mindset. Mindset is like you have to stay, how you have to stay positive, how you have to have a focus hour of study, and it's not that you have to study every day. We are doing class on like weekend pe padho. Friday, in the week, if you have time, you can study. But if you have weekend, you can like study. And if you follow a little bit of discipline, that every live class you are attending, you are good to go. Okay. Syllabus itna mushkil nahi hai. Syllabus is relatively easier. Just tips, tricks you have to follow. How to study, what to study, what not to study. Okay. So I hope you have enjoyed the today's orientation class, and everybody is set and everybody is crystal clear. Yes, you can give your feedback in the chat that are you clear with this scenario, with the teaching methodology, how we are going to study, what we are going to study, right? And I'll see you tomorrow again in your upcoming class. Okay, we have a WhatsApp group, all the links are shared into that, and let's start tomorrow with, we are going to talk about basic definition, basic terms and terminologies. That is going to be the topic for tomorrow. All right, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you soon again, same time. Yes, thank you, Archana. Thank you.